What's up, everyone? Before we get into it, I am giving away 2 sets of tickets to the Stiff Little Fingers at the House of Blues in San Diego. It is going down on May 25th. First 2 people to email me, 185milessouth@gmail.com. They're yours. Handle business. Once again, Stiff Little Fingers, House of Blues, San Diego, California, May 25th of this year. And only get at me if you live in the area. So what's up? Let's get on with the episode.
It's still so aggressive, so fast, so beefy and brilliant.
185milessouth.com.
Smash that Patreon button.
185 Miles South, a hardcore punk rock podcast. What's up, everyone? We are back and talking hardcore. This week, we're talking 1988. God damn. Helping out. You know him, you love him. It is the best dressed man on the pod. It is our Stargazy Pie. It is Daniel Sant. What's up, Dan?
Yo, sucker, you got a big mouth. And I'm not saying that next part.
Yeah, well, that is a copyright Where It Went podcast, Dan. So I appreciate that. I don't want that cease and desist, you know? Also up and out, it is Ben Merlis, a.k.a. Ben Edge, a.k.a. Bedge. What's up, Ben?
What's going on?
What is going on? And rounding us out, don't call him Cincinnati. It is the man known as Clevo. What's up, Clevo?
I can't take it no more. I'm bugging out.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Dude, 1988, goddamn, how did we take so long to get here? This is like a tentpole year for music that we love. What do you think, Dan? Why did it take so long?
Save the best for last, or one of the best for last.
You're saying we can finally quit the pod. Thank you.
No, there's too much poser core to report on.
Yeah. Okay. Clevo, thoughts on 1988 as the person on the pod who may have been into hardcore. Are you into hardcore in 88?
I was into hardcore in 88. Yeah, there is a lot of stuff we're going to talk about tonight that I was like bought new in the store. And there's going to be some stuff we talk about tonight that I missed out at the beginning and, kind of found my way back to a lot of it. So, but like all the Revelation stuff, really the Revelation stuff. And I mean, most importantly, and we'll talk about it a lot, but, I didn't get into hardcore because of the way it is comp, but I think that the way it is comp probably shaped me, and my taste in music probably more than any other record that came out. It probably in the 80s, but definitely this year.
Dude, the way it is comp, people. 1988. That's what's up. This is going to be a year that we get skewered. You know, people get upset on the gram when we pick a lot of the same bands and we don't spread it out that much. And there's just so much canon shit here for like the style of hardcore that a lot of us like the most. That I think the honorables might be more interesting to people. So some you can skip to the end, everyone. And listen to my honorables list. But, it's just going to be one of those things like, 4 of you motherfuckers pick side by side, but no one got lip cream. Like, that's going to happen, dude, probably. Unless
what about Finland?
Yeah. There's some Finnish shit in 88, but the early 80s is hotter for Finland. But, what are you going to do? There's a Death Side 7-inch this year. There's some brutal shit coming out of England this year, Dan. I don't know if it's on your list, the heresy stuff. But yeah, killer year. Ben, hip us to 1988.
It's youth of today versus crucial youth. It's no for an answer versus no effects. It's vision versus visions of change, and you're probably riding a Vision skateboard while wearing Vision streetwear. It's Econochrist versus Christ on a crutch versus Christ on parade. Whichever way you prefer your Christ, this year's got you. It's Fearless Iranians from Hell versus Angry Samoans, two bands that contain no members from their purported nations of origin. We're solidly in second-generation hardcore, but this is the year of first-generation youth crew. On the East Coast, we've got Gorilla Biscuits, The Return of Youth of Today, Judge, Project X, Bold, Turning Point, and Wide Awake. On the West Coast, we got Instead, Hard Stance, No for an Answer, Unit Pride, and Breakaway. Early to mid-'80s hardcore bands like Uniform Choice, Dag Nasty, Government Issue, Marginal Man, and 7 Seconds have all gone soft. And almost all of them are now on giant records. Post-Revolution Summer DC bands are in full force. These include Ignition, Soulside, Shudder to Think, and some band no one's ever heard of called Fugazi. Chicago is on fire with the Bhopal Stiffs, Naked Raygun, Screeching Weasel, and Digits. SoCal is rebuilding with Bad Religion's comeback, Suffer. The formation of All after the demise of Descendants, the first NoFX LP, and the relaunch of Social Distortion as a regular rock band. The seeds of power violence are being planted right here by Infest. Power violence's closest cousin, ska punk, is also being formulated in the Bay Area by Operation Ivy. NYHC is having a renaissance with the second Warzone LP, Raw Deal Demo, second Token Entry LP, Life's Blood 7-inch, and Uppercut Demo. Labels that form: New Age, Nemesis, Schism, Workshed, Smorgasbord, Combined Effort, Soul Force, Cruise, Roadkill, and Zach's favorite bootleggers, Lost and Found. Bands that broke up: Marginal Man, 3, and Dag Nasty.
Hell yeah. Dan, you want to jump in any of that?
Well, I would say thank goodness for some of those breakups with the last outputs on some of them. And it is really interesting, like all these classic bands go soft. And then one thing I will say, just for the continuity of the pod, I believe we mistakenly included the first 7 songs from the Fugazi 7-song 7-inch. I think we did it on 1989 because that's when the 13 songs came out. So I just want to say that if anyone had Fugazi lined up, I think for continuity of the way we've been doing these Super 7s, it's already been claimed by 89, unfortunately.
Oh, my list is fucked. What am I going to do? Dude, the best was Ben starting off his breakdown there with the Youth of Today versus Crucial Youth. Like,
yeah,
talk about
that's...
versus. It's like the worst mismatch ever, dude. That's straight up King Kong Bundy versus SD Jones, right?
That's like, I was gonna say King Kong Bundy versus the Haiti Kid.
Well, it's Beat It versus Eat It. It's Michael Jackson versus Weird Al Yankovic making fun of Michael Jackson, right? It's the parody youth crew band.
Just one more quick note, like Daniel said about those Fugazi songs that were on my list. As One and Sick People both got taken in 1987 for that Super 7, so those are off the list. So don't get at us. Why didn't you pick Sick People? It's because we picked it in 87. What's up, dude? Okay, Dan, let everyone know what a Super 7 is and the order that we are picking in.
Okay, Super 7 is our really fun, competitive way of formulating the best 7-song playlists / mixtapes. We go in a fantasy football-esque draft, and we go round 1, we'll start with Clevo, followed by me, followed by Ben, and in the Nerd Curse spot, we've got Zach. And then round 2, all the bands that we took in round 1 are eligible to be taken if they have more songs in 88, but those songs are not eligible to be taken. So they're locked in, and you can double up on artists, much to the listener's chagrin, but you cannot double up on songs.
Yeah, maybe this was a year we should have done no repeaties on the artists. Who knows? But let's get into it. Clevo, what is the greatest hardcore song of the year, 1988?
So I'm not saying that this is the greatest song of 1988, but strategically, I am taking "Fed Up" by Judge from the Judge 7-inch.
Yeah.
This is, what started as a side project, a Youth of Today side project, really set the blueprint for so many bands that came after this. The legend is that, Porter listened to the Judge 7-inch and wrote all the lyrics for the for the Floor Punch 7-inch, and you can really see like the direct lineage there. This is an angry 100% straight edge song, just saying like, this is who I am now, like calling out people from his past. And just really, it kicks in, and then it's just like, just straight into the song. Mike really, lyrically, I think Mike really is one of the better lyricists, even though this is a pretty, just in your face, unabashed straight edge song. And then just really that breakdown part at the end, smoking that butt, it makes you mature, a slave to sex, and you tell me you're pure. Just really, this has everything you want in a straight edge hardcore song. And, Schism Records, Judge, that font, the Cockney Rejects rip off cover. This is where it's at.
Dude, and also I love that it's a straight edge song, and he is still writing for that third X, right? A slave to sex, and you tell me you're pure.
Yep.
So keeping it real. Also, but he blows it on that smoking that butt part, because that's not the part of the cigarette you smoke, dude. Come on, that's a straight edge person like getting it wrong. So just like Ian thinking like, oh, that's crazy, he drank a half pint. Like, you talking a few cocktails, man. Come on. But yeah, this is a great first pick. So angry, and I mean, one of the greatest hardcore 7-inches of all time. Every single song a banger, and then also, the cover, like getting so many kids into Blitz, which is one of the greatest bands of all time. So it's like, you get a handful of the greatest hardcore songs ever, and then you get them being like, hey, you ever check this out? And you're like, God damn, a whole new world opens up. Dan, what do you think about this?
I mean, I can say it in 5 words. I'm fed the fuck up. I love that part where it goes into the breakdown, and then the way the breakdown, like, it's the angriest, best sing-along, like, part, and then but you better understand, and then everyone understand. That part is so good. This is just unbelievable. I love it.
Hell yeah. Ben, you want to touch this, or should I shoot it to Dan for his number 1?
I love it. The first Judge I heard was the Storm 2, and I was like, why does this band look like they're hardcore straight edge, but they play heavy metal? And then when I heard Judge Fed Up, I was like, oh, fuck yes. So I did it in the wrong order, but this is so good and so pissed off, and it's only 2 people. I mean, it doesn't really take an entire army to make a statement. You just need a good drummer and someone who can play rhythm guitar, pretty much.
Yeah, and sometimes you don't even need a good drummer. Shout out to the Ray and Porcel 7-inch. Okay, Dan, let's go to you for your number 1.
Okay, well, it's 1988. And, I mean, there's one thing that towers above everything for me. And let's just say it starts like this. It goes, oh. That's the feedback at the very beginning. And then it just launches in, and, Hidden Live! Backfire, Side by Side. It's unbelievable. It is, the song structure is amazing. It's got the building up, and we'll tear you up. And then it just goes, and it gives you those cymbal crashes or the hi-hat crashes, and just takes you into another stratosphere as the song progresses. I think Jules has the best voice over the 2 records in 88 and 89 that he put out. And Side by Side, Revelation 5 is the best thing on Revelation, and it happened to land in 1988. And that's saying something, because this label is incredible. But, I mean, Backfire, Side by Side, it is otherworldly in how amazing this is. There's so much aggression in it, but there's so much tunefulness just hidden within it. And there is a brilliant guitar tone, brilliant use of feedback, use of negative space. There's just everything about this song is incredible. I love it.
Yeah, so good. And one of those songs where it has to be the first song on the record, right? Like it's just that song. It's got to go first. This would be so strange in like the third slot, you know?
Absolutely.
Um, yeah, and it's just one of those songs too. Like, you can tell. I mean, everything back then was being written in a room, but like they're just kind of going where the song takes them. The song just sounds like they were in a room. They were on a hot one. They were jamming. They're like, "What about this part? Oh shit!" What about this? Oh shit! Just stacking part on part. And yeah, I mean, this is pretty much just as good as it gets. Clevo, what do you think about this?
Yeah, great band, just period. One of the few bands from that era that I just never had a chance to see, and that's just such a bum out because I feel like there's just so much of a legend about them. And yeah, I just I don't really have much to add except that this is like, again, this is really it's just classic. It really inspired a lot of bands that came after this.
Ben, you want to speak on this, or you want to go into your number one?
Yeah, this is one of the songs I had as an absolute. I only had 3 songs as absolutes, and another one was Fugazi Waiting Room, and Dan just popped this strange rule on me where I'm not allowed to pick Fugazi Waiting Room. So there goes 2 of my picks. Thank you. But yeah, the cool thing about Side by Side is like half of these dudes are like practically children, like, in their mid-teens, and like they're not the greatest musicians, but like the way the songs are recorded and the way they're structured, it's like it can't get any better. This is like some of the best, definitely some of the best straight edge hardcore ever, but just some of the best hardcore ever. And there's so many parts to this one song that are so memorable, between the chugging, backfire in your face, and the whoa, and they're coming back into the slow verses. So, excellent pick. You got it, Dan. You got me.
All right, go into your one, Ben.
My number 1 pick, my only remaining absolute, is the B-side of the Verbal Assault Tiny Giant 7-inch. I'm talking about More Than Music. This is like hardcore in a nutshell. More than music, more than a new dance, more than fashion. It's more than a pose dance. It's more than music. Ding, 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 ding. Definitely, this should have been the A-side. Like, this is the better song of the 2. It's the only thing that Verbal Assault did in 88. And I vaguely remember hearing that the eye you see on the cover of the record is Sinead O'Connor's eye. And I just checked, and if you look at if the booklet for the first Sinead O'Connor album from '87, The Lion and the Cobra, there's a photograph of her, and it is that, and they just reversed it. So that's kind of a cool little fun fact. Verbal Assault from Newport, Rhode Island, definitely like one of the leaders of melodic hardcore for that era, and great guitar tone too. I don't know if this is a guitarist's band. Well, I mean, Zach, you are a former guitarist and you love driving around to Verbal Assault.
Yeah, but I was never a good guitarist. I do think this is a guitarist band though. Like, this is, I don't know, this band like ages tastefully, more tastefully than like basically anyone else, other than Minor Threat, but this is a great pick, absolutely. And this is a year after Trial. I think Trial's 87, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's your
so, and I'm with you.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. And I agree with you. This song is better than the A-side. I love it. I'm glad this got on. I'm surprised this is your only absolute because, dude, I got a lot that I need on my list, about 50. So we'll see. Clevo, you want to speak on this, or should I take my number 1?
Just, that guitar tone is just so good. I don't know, because Pete just has replicated that still. Like, if you see them now, they sound exactly like this still. So if they come through, go see them. They're not going to move around on stage, but they're going to sound great.
Hell yeah. I got to get this out of the way since Dan might be getting clever. I'm going to take Side by Side, The Time Is Now. This is probably my favorite Side by Side song, and let me get into it. Just the way it starts with like the the real chords, doing the single string shit on like the dude playing a real chord, and then the harmonics over the top. It's like, god damn, we going for a vibe here, you know? But then like there's sick shit in here too. Like once the drums kick and that riff goes, the drum fill that the dude does between like playing that riff the first and the second time is so good, you know? And then it kicks in to going fast, of course. Just with talking about guitar tones, like we just did on Verbal Assault, dude, the guitar tone on this is so fuzzy and so sick, you know, like, because this song is about as melodic as you can get before you fall off the stick. But like, there's just shit in here that makes it dirty and awesome. You know, of course, the vocal delivery, but also just like this guitar tone is a fuzz fucking machine, you know? But like those lyrics, never too young, never too old to stand fucking hard and take control of your life. And then into that nice chord progression. God damn, dude. Top of the heap, you know? It's like, can it get better than this? I don't know. But then the Burn 7-inch comes out in 1990 and you're like, god damn, someone did, you know? But yeah, this is ill. Dan, what do you think about this one? How does it stack up in your side-by-side Mount Rushmore?
It's on there. Absolutely. Everything you said about it, I mean, I was just sat here just nodding. Yes. Testify. I love the guitar tone. I love the atmosphere at the beginning of this. It's so atmospheric. And then you just said it, like, stand fucking hard and take control of your life. Oh, God. So good. And the gallop with the drums, like, it's so good. I mean, it's so crazy. Like, really, how old was Sammy when this is recorded?
12?
That's insane. It's insane. It's insane because it's brilliant drumming.
Wait, he might have been 14.
Well, either way.
I'm trying to think. I think he might have been. I'm trying to think of like our relative ages, but he was definitely a preteen.
Yeah,
wild.
It's just brilliant, and everything about it's so good. Like you say, the tone. I mean, I love it. I love it so much.
All right. If Ben wants to talk more side by side, he can take a song. And same with you, Clevo. Let's go to you for your number 2.
I am going to go with Bad Religion from the Suffer LP. I'm going to take Do What You Want because this is the banger. I mean, there are so many songs on here. You could take a song if you like counting. There's a song you can take, you know, if you want to get the thesaurus out, there's plenty of songs you can take, but this one is really just this is the one. I feel like this is the hit. It's Bad Religion. It's Suffer. I personally, Suffer is my go-to Bad Religion album. Probably because it's the one that I heard first. And I've just always gone back to it. But I mean, it's Bad Religion. It sounds like Bad Religion. And yeah, I mean, we've talked about Bad Religion quite a bit on here. And I just think that this is the standout track for me.
Dude, 100%. This is like the song. This is a song that got me into punk, straight up, you know? Someone dubbed me this, and like I went home that day and listened to it a million fucking times. And this song especially. You know what I mean? Which is wild because I love the whole record still to this day. I think there's like no skippers. Maybe Forbidden Beat. But some people love that song. And I don't hate it. But yeah, this is the one, right? And I just remember like being in my room and playing this song over and over. And like it's on a tape. So, you know, you go too far, you don't go far enough. It was like the most frustrating fucking thing to listen to the song 20 times in a row. But I did. You know, this is like, I don't know. It's where it's at. Still to this day, you know, probably my favorite punk band. So yeah, great pick. It's the one. I wish it was on my list, but there's like 14 other great songs on that record. So it is what it is.
True.
Dan, you want to speak on this?
Yeah, there's a couple things about this song that, tried and true Zach Dan theory here. When the verse is melodious and amazing and rivals the chorus and basically almost beats it, you're onto a banger of a song. But there's one thing that always cracks me up about this song. Yahey! Like some nautical pirate end to the thing. But I guess he's doing what he wants, yelling out Yahey.
That's fair.
It's a great song.
Hell yeah. Ben, you want to speak on this, or should I shoot it at Dan for his number 2?
Yeah, I heard an interview with Greg Hetson, and he was asked about, this is the beginning of the Bad Religion formula as we know it. It's their third album, but it's the first one that has this formula that they kind of stuck to. And that I can't even remember what podcast it was, but they were saying, what were you thinking? What were you thinking when you were recording these songs? And he said something like, we thought it was funny. Like, we were doing all these vocal melodies that you never hear in punk songs, and we just thought it was funny, but we knew it was really good too. So it's kind of like just putting this out in the world, having no idea what kind of reaction you're going to get. And then the reaction is overwhelming, and it just influences generations of punk bands after this. Also, not my favorite Bad Religion album, but definitely my favorite Bad Religion album cover art. That's Rollins talks about how when he was before he was in Black Flag, he was just a fan of theirs, and he'd look at that Nervous Breakdown record cover and he'd feel like the guy in the corner of the room holding the chair, or he'd feel like the guy with his fists up. And I look at this record cover and I think, yeah, that I identify with the kid who's on fire in kind of a California suburban looking background. Great pick. Not my favorite song on the album. Maybe we'll come back to this record later.
Dan, let's go to you for your number 2.
Okay. I'm as straight as the line that you sniff up your nose. I'm going Straight Edge Revenge, Project X. Yes, this is a parody. It is a side project that has definitely humor within the crew that made it, but this is still such an absolute banger of a song. And if you've ever been in a room where any band is covering this, fucking look out. Look out. Don and myself are smashing our way to the front, and we are grabbing the mic and just trying to sing every single word into the mic and just wrecking everything. This is so good, and I love the way it's menacing, and then it goes into the fast chorus. It kind of is almost like a roller coaster that goes over the part and then starts sliding down. That part of it's amazing. Then it comes back in and gives you that vibe that when Ready to Fight comes back in after the first chorus. And then it gives you that vibe, but then you hear, "This time you push me too far." Yeah. That part, God, amazing. I love this. I don't care if anyone thinks this song is cheesy. This is a brilliant hardcore song, and it is so great, and I love it so much.
Yeah, this is an all-timer, right? And you're right. It's basically a Ready to Fight tribute song. The structure is the same. Is angry like that. It's Porcell writing his Fed Up, right? Same year, same simplicity. And yeah, it's a perfect hardcore song. This is it. If you think it's too simple or too cheesy or whatever, you're on some other bullshit. This is straight up where it's at. Clevo, you want to speak on this?
No, I mean, yeah, it's again, it's just in the wheelhouse. Schism Records just really, really, really bringing the heat this year. Yeah, I'm curious. Porcell's writing all these songs, these Judge songs and PX songs and whatever. And if Judge and Project X didn't exist, I'm curious as to how these would have been as Youth of Today songs.
Yeah,
it's a really, really good sliding doors moment, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a wild thought. You know what I mean? Because what would have gotten bumped off "We're Not in This Alone," or would they have just held on and done more later?
But I doubt Ray would have sang these lyrics like for Straight Edge Revenge. I doubt
For
Ray
sure
would have
not.
sang those lyrics. Yeah. So
Well, he wouldn't have sang the Judge lyrics either, right? It's not like he's given fucking Mike the pen.
Yeah.
You know, so like we would have not had the songs. It would have just been something different. Yeah, I mean, and they're better here. They gotta be, you know, because we got Ray's shit. We got a lot of Ray, and I love it all. Right? I mean,
yeah,
I don't love Shelter, but I love all the Youth of Today shit. And he wrote a lot of songs, you know, so respect. I don't know if we needed another album's worth. And he didn't give us another album's worth. He went on and started writing religious music. So what are you gonna do? Okay, Ben, you want to speak on this, or you want to take your number 2?
Yeah, I had Cross Me as an honorable, but it really could have been almost any song off this record. This is, I love that "I'll fuck you up as fast as that pill on your tongue" line. It's just like, how can we make the most straight edge record, straight edge song, and the most straight edge record cover art and the most straight edge name of any band ever? It's like they've out straight edged everybody. And as a straight edger, fuck yeah, bring it on. More of that. My number 2, I'm going to pick Let's Keep It Straight Edge. Let's keep it Porcell, and let's keep it Sammy. And let's go Youth of Today, Put It Aside. This is off of their second LP, We're Not in This Alone, Caroline Records. This is the song on this record I gravitate towards the most. I love that. I know what I'm shooting for. Put it aside, and I know how I felt. Ain't gotta fucking prove it to anybody because I already proved it to myself. And you got to figure like Ray is flying the straight edge flag higher than or this band at least is flying the straight edge flag higher than anybody, and he's getting tested, and there's a lot of confrontation involved in taking a stand, no pun intended, for that kind of thing. And so this is sort of like his, I've already proved it to myself. I don't have to prove it to you. I don't know how true that is or whatever, but it's a good mantra, no pun intended, to live by. This record got remixed in 1997, and the remix is superior to the original. The Revelation Records version that is currently in print to this day is better sounding than the 88 version. That's my opinion. And cool record cover too. You got them all standing there like they're this is the actual Youth crew, the crew itself. So definitely, like, they're pretty much the reason you have all these straight edge bands popping up with great records in 88. It's because these guys laid the groundwork starting in 85.
The verses on this song are out of control. Like when it goes like that palm muting part into like that stop and then coming out on like the dynamics on the cymbal is out of this world. Like, this is the best of Youth of the Day. This is the best song on the record, I think, too. This and Slow Down, just like dynamically they're there. I'm a Break Down the Walls man, but these two songs, fucking A. You might argue like the songwriting is better here, but yeah, great pick, Ben. What do you think, Dan?
I'm reeling right now because I thought this was a 1989 album. Awesome.
Numbers are doubling at 88.
That's true. Yeah, and the world has just opened for me, but then it complicates all those things that I've got, because this is my favorite era of Youth of Today. And this is a brilliant choice. Break Down the Walls, you've got just the most wild sounding, aggressive band. But here there's just an element, and I don't want to say maturity, there's an element of being better at what you do and just a melodious impact that is just coming with writing more and more songs and probably playing guitar a lot more. And it's still so aggressive, so fast, so beefy and brilliant. And then it is just incredible. I love this so much.
Hell yeah. Clevo, you want to speak on this, or should I take my number 2?
Just two things really quick. One, Ben, you left off the best part of that is the what the fuck in the middle of the breakdown. It just comes out
yeah.
of no. It's just like it comes out. It's like what the fuck. And also 10-Yard Fight. We used to cover this, and we recorded it. We actually recorded it for a covers comp. This has always been just one of the standouts from a standout LP. So yeah, this was definitely on my list, my short list from this Youth of Today record.
Hell yeah. Okay, my number 2. Do you know it off that, Dan? Hello?
I do.
Dan passed away from grief after not getting a Youth of Today.
Yeah, we go to Clevo for the steal. Clevo.
Because this is another song that 10-Yard Fight recorded for covers comp. Yeah,
dude.
I mean, I'm not gonna. Am I gonna steal your thunder here?
Yeah, you're gonna say it to steal from the champ.
Straight edge in your face.
That's right. It's straight edge in your face, dude. The way he goes up a little higher the second time, so good. And this is just one of those songs. It hooks you off the fucking initial riff. Dun 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 dun.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. My mic came on, and then all kinds of weird stuff came up on my screen about you don't have audio. I'm like, what the hell? Anyway.
Yeah, I love the part on the song when he's like, "You're dead, and nobody cares about you. Nobody's learning anything, 'cause they all do what you do. Everybody does it. Why shouldn't I? 'Cause it's sick." So good, dude.
The 'cause it's sick part is almost like just Sesame Street, but the hardcore version.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little tongue-in-cheek here, but like there's that meanness, right? It's like Floor Punch would come along in the 90s and do like a similar thing to this, right? Where it's like the tongue is a little bit in the cheek, but it's still like there's enough meanness there that it doesn't come off silly. So, yeah, you know, it's got the lines like, "Don't get smoke in my face or you'll get a straight edge in your face." So good, dude. Just all-time classic song. I loved when 10-Yard Fight covered this. They played it in Oxnard. There was like, I don't know, 10 of us singing along, and like maybe one person was straight edge. So that was sick. But yeah, all-timer. Dan, what do you think?
Yeah, it's so good. Shout out Jeff Jock, Choke's twin brother, twin younger brother. I've always loved the in your face part of this, just the, like you say, that you'll get a straight edge in your face. What does that mean? But it's amazing. And then the anger of this, while still appealing, like you just said, like appealing to a room, like the majority of Slapshot fans are not Xing up usually. You know, you ever seen them? It's a lot of bald dudes who love to drink probably hardcore adjacent beers at this point. I just love it. It's so tuneful but angry and slightly just like Project X. It's like it's not 100% for real, but it's 98%, and that makes it even cooler because there's a nod and a wink, but also there's a ton of straight edge pride, and it's fantastic.
Ben, you want to touch this, or should I shoot it to Clevo for his number 3?
I had the song "Step on It" as an honorable, but yeah, this would be in second place for this Slapshot album. Good choice.
All right, Clevo, let's go to you for your number 3.
All right. I'm going to do something that is probably a little out of character for me. I'm going to take Bold. And I'm actually going to take Always Try. This is, I just think this is like such a positive, just such a positive song. And, in 1988, Bold meant so much more to me then than they do now, but really like just the fact that I've probably said this before, but just the fact that there were these kids putting out records on Rev that were the same age as me, like, just blew my mind. They were on the comps. They were playing shows with Youth of Today and all those other bands, and just really, this record, from the first time I saw it in the record store, and just really that cover just really stands out so much, especially in this time period, because records just didn't really look like that. Punk records were like black and white, and had like all sorts of like angry imagery and whatever was on it. And here you have these like squeaky clean kids with this faux Blue Note layout, and really every once in a while I go back and listen to it, and I'm like, yeah, this is still good, but it just doesn't hit me the same as it used to. But this song, like, super positive, and just really kind of makes me think of that just time period in my life. So always come back to that.
Two things on the song. First, their best breakdown. I always thought that. The other thing is, why is there 3 verses, dude? Come on, cut it down. Ben, what do you think about this?
That's interesting that Clevo mentioned that the record cover is faux Blue Note, which I never picked up on before, but it totally is, because you have those color treated black and white images. And I think that it's intentionally making an X, because you have the 4 members in the 4 corners, and then you have bold in the middle. But like, the recording quality is notoriously bad on this record. The record cover is incredible. The song is incredible. They re-record it the next year. You don't get that until 93 on that Looking Back EP. And he adds lyrics to it. So, but it's good hearing the original version, because he's just yelling, try, instead of the whatever lyrics he added for the follow-up version. It's just Bold was a big deal for me. They were like, they almost like, I guess them and Youth of Today, they kind of gave, it's just like absurd at this point to even say this, but they gave the punk rocker like me permission to dress normal. Like, oh, you can wear sneakers and a hoodie and like still be a punk rocker, and like that's fine. And of course, they were reinforcing my anti-drug sort of viewpoint that I already had. Like, oh shit, there's other people out there who are playing this kind of music and liking this kind of music that feel the same way as me about that kind of shit too. They've always kind of been the whipping boy, like a lot of people, it was okay to slag Bold, right? Like they were the band that was okay to be like, yeah, I like all that stuff except Bold, they suck. I always thought that was pretty sorry, because like, I think this LP rips, dude. I don't even think the recording is bad. And you guys know that I'm kind of a stickler for that stuff. I love this record. If anything, like, they probably should have done a 7-inch, not an LP, but whatever. It's like good. And Talk is Cheap and Wise Up and this song. I mean, these are fucking great hardcore songs. Yeah, Nail to the X, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, and shout out to the Monster X cover of that, like the best one on that 7-inch. So, yeah, I don't know. This is great. I love it. Dan, you want to speak on this, or you want to? Oh, go ahead, Clevo, and then we'll shoot it.
I was just going to say, for the recording, because I was going back and forth to taking the track off of The Way It Is, and
which sounds great.
But I think that I actually think that the LP sounds better.
Yeah, me too. I don't know if that's because I listened to the LP more, like in my formative years, Dan, you want to speak on this, or you want to take your number 3?
Yeah. This is really great. I mean, the real youth in the Youth crew, between them and Sammy, like, so amazing. I would say there's nothing wrong with earnest lyrics about wanting to do better and be better. That's why we love hardcore, as opposed to, some of the more nihilistic elements of punk. That's why hardcore, like, separated into its own strain in one manner. And then, the name of this song also birthed a fantastic zine.
2 issues, baby. You know?
I guess you didn't always try to make more issues.
Hey, that's a third of Antimatter's output, you know? So what are you going to do?
Well, it's time for you to come back.
I just make mock flyers now, Dan. So that's my piece of this hardcore game now.
Yeah.
Go ahead and take your number 3.
Okay. It's really interesting with what's gone so far. I think, like we've said, that there might be a bunch of stuff where we're just getting a lot of the same stuff over and over again, because this year, even though there is so much, there's the real canon that like is the DNA of all 4 people here, But I'm gonna deviate from Rev for a second, and I'm gonna say, talking by my back, stretching the truth. I gotta go with Telltale by Raw Deal. This is my favorite song on the demo, although that changes month to month, year on year, because I love all of it. I mean, I don't have the demo, but I know what the demo is. I've had those MP3s for a million times, and then, of course, then they became Killing Time songs, etc. But I love the way they sound as Raw Deal. Like, it's just fucking New York hardcore. Like, the absolute boil it down, like how people do balsamic reduction. This is NYHC reduction. Boil it all the way down, and the absolute synthesis is NYHC. It's hard as fuck. It is taking no prisoners, and it is still catchy and tuneful. It's brilliant. Telltale.
Yeah, this wouldn't be okay. So this is one of the best Killing Time songs and Raw Deal songs for sure. I don't know if I'd take this. I'm going to take something else. This is one of the songs where I think it's better as a Killing Time song, just because of the palm muting. It's so sick when it's tight and has that big recording. Dun 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 dun. Sounds sick. It sounds good raw here, but I like it even more as Killing Time. So it wouldn't be my pick. I was curious if someone would take one of the 2 songs that didn't make it to Brightside. That is The Lines Are Drawn and Only the Strong Survive. But we will see. This is great. This is an all-timer. And yeah, I don't know. What else can you say about it? It's one of the greatest hardcore songs of all time. Clevo, you want to speak on this?
I was thinking about taking one of those 2 songs, so we may talk about it.
I knew that would be a Clevo move.
All right. Ben, let's go to you for your number 3.
All right. I'm gonna do. Man, this is tough. I think I'm gonna have to go with a song that is, I want to say, more than 4 minutes long, which is just crazy for the style of music that it is. But it totally works. It's incredible. I'm sure the members of this band are like remedial at their instruments. I've heard live stuff, and I know it's like they're not cutting it too much, but man, this recording is just fucking perfect. And it just, man, if you want to do the finger point and stage dive on your bed and whatever, all those great little moments that you live for Youth Crew music, Wide Awake, Last Straw, off the CT Hardcore 7-inch.
I saw it coming from a mile away as soon as you were like, it's a over 4 minute song.
Yeah, it's the only one, right? I mean, it's got to be. And I think the reason for that is a lot of records from this era, they'd track out a separate intro. If you look at the track list, it would be like intro, then it would be the first song. I think this is like the intro of the whole record and that first song combined into one thing. But I love how the choruses are like the breakdowns. Happened once, it won't happen again. You drew the last straw, my friendships. And then there's that whole part of like, you fucking did it. You lied to me. Din, 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 din. Like all these like tempo changes. You've got the fast verses, the mid tempo choruses, and then you got the proper breakdown. And each part, it's like, oh my God, another like classic section of the song. Like another example of that would be like Alone in a Crowd. Is Anybody There? It's like, oh, this is like the most quotable like song with all these parts. Like you'd be lucky to write a song that had one thing that this song has like 5 of, you know, like Repo Man, the whole movie's quotable. It's like this song has so many of those like memorable quotable little sections.
Yeah, this is just Backfire on weed, dude. You know, it's like you make Backfire twice as long and they're high when they're doing this. I'm calling fucking bullshit on them being straight edge. This is a stoner anthem. It's so long and it's just fucking weird. Like that.
You lied to me.
That one part where they're like, don't tell me they're not smoking weed, dude. This is like ridiculous. There's a song that sounds like this. It's 4 minutes long. It's kind of sick in its ridiculousness, but yeah, it's not great in my opinion. So crucify me. I don't give a fuck. Dan, what do you think?
I fucking love it. I fucking love it. Shout out to Bobby Schmurder's hat. Mike Cheese is catching it at the back of the crowd. This is so good. I mean, yeah, I knew this. Now that Ben's taking this, I might not have to take my Wide Awake choice, but maybe I still will. I love it. Like, there's so much schism on this list already, and it's perfect. And the bass in the recording is just that little bit too high that makes it sound so, I don't know, maybe weed adjacent, according to Zach. But there's something about the way the bass sounds on this that is so good, and I love it. And it's so like, I don't know, it's just Wide Awake. It's what they sound like. And yeah, this is another band that gets, just like we were talking about Bold, they get like downgraded or like people don't give them their due. These are great fucking Youth Crew hardcore songs that are so good, and people need to fucking give respect.
I'm with it, dude, with the rest of the record, just not with like this 4-minute track. So
Well,
Clevo, what do you think?
You know, I didn't even have them on my short list, so I'm not going to say anything.
There it is.
Wow.
Okay, what am I going to take? I'm going to take slow down. It's just intense Youth of the Day, straight in the pocket, as good as it gets. That's what's up. I need it on my list, or I'm not being true to myself. I'm taking Youth of Today, Slow Down. Ben, where does that end up in your YOT pantheon?
I actually prefer the Take a Stand live version off of from Lost and Found Records, because he begins it. This one's called Slow Down, Dude. So whenever I hear the version on We're Not in This Alone, the proper studio version, I'm like, damn, why didn't he just say that on this version too? But yeah, it's incredible. It's so good. Dun dun. Slow down.
Dan, make it stop. There's no way this live version is better than this. Come on. The fuck was that?
I mean, they both have their merits. What I will say about this song in particular is this is the template of what would be Youth Crew Revival. This is how the Youth Crew Revival bands will structure songs. So much like da 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 do 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 da 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 da. You like each instrument gets its own little part, and then it all comes back in together. Like it, I think this is so formative in that. And I mean, I can just see, well, actually, I'll probably never own a house in this fucking world, but I would love to live in a cul-de-sac or even on a thoroughfare just have this on loudspeakers every time someone comes flying through in their fucking little speed racer car and just have slow down playing out of a giant megaphone. So, because I'm just channeling my inner old man or outer old man at this point.
Yeah,
I love this.
With a lot of the Youth Crew Revival, a lot of bands had like a gallop mosh part too, right? Like that. So that's a good call out, Dan.
Yeah.
Clevo, you want to speak on this, or should I shoot it back to you anyway for your number 4?
Another great track from this album. It's full of bangers, so can't really go wrong.
Hell yeah. Number 4.
Actually surprised that this is still here, but I'm going to take High Hopes by Gorilla Biscuits. Just that opening bass riff, the feedback comes in, and then, get that little intro, and then, fast part comes in, and, it's really just like, when things are going well and when things aren't going well, and, you're not going to get sieved down. So yeah, it's fucking Gorilla Biscuits.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say, right? It's GB. It's crazy. They're going in round 4. I'm a LP guy over a 7-inch guy, and I do love Better Than You off the comp. But I'm surprised it took so long for this to go. This is a great track. Ben, what do you think? Do you prefer the Walter Sings the Hits version?
I don't think Walter does sing this hit because that's the.
I'm just
LP.
fucking around. Do you prefer some rando ass Euro live version?
Love High Hopes.
He prefers the version on the NYHC documentary when they're wearing creepers and Porcell's looking like Spicoli.
That's right. He loves that
they did this song. Yeah. Love it.
Okay, Dan, let's go to you for your number 4.
We may as well just roll straight in then, because this is, Clevo brought this up. High Hopes was going to be one of the 3 songs from this that I had shortlisted. Clevo took that, and I may as well just roll straight in because they sound amazing, and I just want to say, hold your fucking ground. Hold your ground. Like, the way when it goes, you can hear the fragility in Siv's voice on the ground, and then that guitar playing that Walter does coming in to build that before, and it goes to that really upbeat, upmarch like break. Or it's not even like a break, it's just like a full skank part. Like, it's so good. I mean, it's time to stand up for what you believe. Like, it's so good. Like, you want to pile on and sing along to this right now when we're just talking about this song. Hold Your Ground is a classic. It's an absolute classic. I was going to be very silly. Well, not silly, because it's not silly to me. But I was going to just take all the side-by-side songs. And when I just looked at everything that came out this year, I can't just not take these songs as well. Do you know what I mean? So, Hold Your Ground, GB.
Yeah, this is the song, in my opinion, off this record. And Danny called out that part, that break before it goes into It's Hard to Stand Up for What You Believe. That's where it's at, dude. That's the one. Clevo, how do you think this stacks up against High Hopes?
It's like 1A. It's like 1A, 1B. Because I had High Hopes and Hold Your Ground as the 2 that I pulled off of the 7-inch. I love the like the fast lyric part where it's like strong fucking person to hold your ground, and then it goes hold your. Just like just kind of thinking about like taking semi simplistic songs and just changing things up a little bit to make them more interesting, to make them more dynamic, I think is really Walter showing how he is as a songwriter very early on is pretty impressive.
Ben, do you like this or do you like the demo recordings more?
It's funny. I heard the demo first because it's on the 99 tracks version of Start Today, but this is the better version. Great pick. It's you may be different from your peers, but I'm sure they'll understand. Be yourself and be the best you can. It's like you take those lyrics and you make that shit amazing. Like that's a feat. Like those lyrics on their own, it's like corny. But this is so fucking
Not
awesome.
really.
I mean, it could be a poster on a a wall in an elementary school. But I mean, I agree with the message, and I love the music, and I think that he takes that message and he meaning Walter, the guy who wrote the song, presents it in a way that's like, fuck yeah, I'm all for this, 100% all in.
Dude, this is very timely for this pod, although I guess it's 89, not 88, but I got a kitty, and that's going to date the pod. But he's absolutely destroying my fucking Chain of Strength hoodie. But he won't, he's like a koala bear. He just won't get off my chest and he's chewing the strings like a motherfucker.
Yeah, because he's like, yeah. he's East Coast at heart, I suppose.
Yeah. Noodle, what the fuck, bro? Okay, Dan, let's go to you for your number 4.
Well, that was just mine. Hold your ground.
Oh, that's right. Dude, one of these days we got to get a better host. Ben, what are you doing these days? You want to host a pod? Let's go to you for your number 4.
All right, my number 4. I'm gonna go. You know what? We've been spending so much time on the East Coast. I got to go West Coast, and I got to pick something that, this is like, it's not going to win. It's probably not going to win me any votes, and it's not on Spotify. But I got to be true to myself and pick it. Reason to Believe, the song "True Love Always." It's the first song on their debut 7-inch. The Next Door. I want to say maybe Soul Force put it out first, and then it was reissued on Nemesis. Whatever. It's the 7-inch. It's got this crazy metal guitar intro, dun, 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 and then it's just off to the races. Just the most it's just this furious hardcore song with all kinds of stops and chord changes, and you have John Bunch just wailing away over it about domestic abuse. And I used to sign emails "True Love Always" as a shout out. Not that anyone ever got the reference to this song. They're just one of those bands where it's just proof that if your shit stays out of print long enough, people will forget you ever existed, even if you're one of the greatest bands that ever existed, because that's what they are. They're from Redondo Beach. John Bunch started. A lot of these guys ended up starting the band Sensefield, which is a very, very different sounding band than this. This is pure hardcore. It does have melody in it. It's almost like if 7 Seconds didn't wimp out and stayed a hardcore band and continued down the melodic hardcore path, maybe they would have busted out shit like this. I love it.
Yeah, this song rules. You could have gone with New Foundation and stuck with your 4-minute hardcore song little thing you got going there. But this is really the track. This and the second song, Mind on Paper. So good. So many starts and stops in the song and the dynamics. And then, yeah, you're right. It's John Bunch being very Kevin Second-C or maybe Dubar-esque even. This is just all-time shit. I love this 7-inch. I love the LP. And this is one of those hardcore travesties, that this stuff is not out there for the people. Someone's blocking it. I know multiple labels want to do it. And it's just forgotten to history, which is a goddamn shame because it's a hardcore classic. And everyone can track it down. It's on YouTube, I'm sure. Or hit me up. I'll send you those MP3s. Fuck it. Dan, you familiar with this at all?
To a very lesser extent than the rest of the U3. I've definitely listened to it, but it's never been a wheelhouse band for me.
Clevo, are you familiar with this at all?
Yeah, not as familiar. I definitely, get on. I definitely probably listen to Sensefield more than this, sadly. But saying that it's like Kevin Seconds or Dubar-esque, like John Bunch can like vocally can hold his own with those dudes. Like that dude had a fucking voice.
Yep. And here the music doesn't suck. So what can you do? Let me see here. My number 4. Dude, I can't stand the Rev College years. I'm sorry. I don't like any of that stuff at all. But I'm glad you guys can carry the water for it. I appreciate that. I appreciate when people like that stuff. Okay, let's see here. Oh shit. What's it gonna be? I am going to take. Okay, I'm going to take 1,000 More Fools, the second song off Suffer. You Are the Government is a good start, but dude, 1,000 More Fools. And then the verses are just so melodic. It's like out of this world, but the the recording is still kind of, I don't know, Ben, you wouldn't say this recording sounds old school, right? It's not like the early 80s shit, but like there is like a rawness to it, right?
This is like when everything, it's like when Dorothy steps through the door after the tornado and everything goes from black and white to color. Like this is the moment that happens in punk rock. Like, everything before this kind of sounds like it's the shit we love, but it's like the black and white kind of shit we love. This is like the beginning of modern punk production, don't you think? Or am I giving it too much credit?
Yeah. Well, it's very hard for me to explain it, or I guess even comprehend it, because I'm a total moron. But like, yeah, I'm with you. I think that's a great way of putting it. Like, this is going into color, but then like, what is Generator? Because it's such a jump from like these 3 records to Generator, which is like a fully like modern produced, like, I don't know, like a major label sounding record. You know what I mean? Like, it is so much more produced than this. So I don't know. Like, this is like going from black and white to like VHS here, and then it's like Blu-ray is Generator. Like, I don't know.
Right. It's like HD, where it's so HD that it looks like you're just in the room, and it takes away all the brilliance of watching films. Like, I hate HD, but that's how.
Yeah. Like, right. It has that smoothing on it, so it's like you're watching The Godfather, and it looks like you're watching a soap opera.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
it's like you're standing in the room watching people acting instead of actually watching characters in a movie.
Yeah, you just got to turn off the smoothing, dude, and the settings, and it'll all be better. But yeah, I mean, that's a good analogy, I think. I don't know. I love this song. I love this whole record. I already spoke on it when Clevo went. But 1,000 More Fools, it's in my fucking A, dude. Land of Competition, Part 2, Best for You. I think we did that as a trivia question once, Dan, right? How many times does he say best for you, and how many times does he say best for you?
Yeah.
A great early 185 trivia question. But
a great one that we were like, what the fuck is this for a question?
Best for you. But yeah, 1,000 More Fools, that's my pick. What is up? Okay, let's go back to Clevo for his number 5.
I am also going to go back to the West Coast. I'm going to take a song by Infest. And since Infest is so well known for playing fast, kind of the early adopter of the power violence scene, I'm going to take their mid-tempo banger. I'm going to take Mindless Mutant, or Mindless. Another Edge song, which is kind of funny in hindsight. And also just like, it just kind of shows, Joe is a little, it's not a thinking man straight edge song. Let's just put it that way. But I love when it goes into the fast, it does go into a fast part. It's not just all mid tempo, but I mean, Infest is, super important. And they're a band that, because, not from the West Coast, and, Slave came out, and I had never even seen a copy of it until sometime in the 90s, because it just wasn't really readily available where I was. So I actually didn't even really hear it until sometime in the 90s. So but super important band, that's kind of outside of that youth crew, Rev, Schism sort of focused bands that we've been talking about. So Infest, I mean, you know who they are. And another band, actually, they play shows again, and I still haven't seen them.
Yeah, they're killer. I spoke with Matt Domino in the last year, and he said that they were considering putting this stuff on streaming, so it's not out of the realm of possibility. So maybe it's up by the time this episode comes out. Who knows? This is a great pick. I love plucking this one off the record. Most people would go to Where's the Unity. My favorite would probably be Sick and Tired. But this is great with the triplets. It's like going back and forth like that old punk style, slow to fast.
Mm-hmm.
Da 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 da. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. Into the fucking scissor beat. Super sick. Great pick. And unlike Ben, not a 4-minute track, under a minute. So respect. Anyone else want to speak on this, or should I shoot it to Dan for his number 5? All right, jump in, Dan.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I gotta take this while it's still out there. I'm gonna just quote my favorite line from it: "Wore chains around our waists, and everyone, construction gloves."
Off the square on Saturday night, I see my brother. He's here to fight. They got him down. It's 3-on-1. 10 of us chose. Guess who won? We hung out on 7th and A. Friend worth the door, didn't have to pay. Boston came around one night. Push came a shove. We were down to fight. Hell yeah, Dan. This should have been my number 1. It's like, this might be my favorite song of all time.
Yeah. And, there's been an accusation of this being a little cosplayish because, like, how old would he have been in the true, like, 7th and A days? But, man, these kids were out on the streets at very young ages,
16.
So, well, there you go. We've got the historian. Everything about it is brilliant. It's a referential song about hardcore. The way it comes in with just the bass and the drums, like, the vibe is there immediately, and then I want it back again. Like, so good. The backups are placed absolutely immaculately, and then you get to the "In Remembrance of Old New York," and those backups, like chanting, giving it the like oi vibe at the same time of it being absolutely perfect New York hardcore. I mean, this is special.
But what makes that part special, Dan, is that they do that, like, that cymbal dynamic part into that fast part before it too, right? We have seen the backstab blood was getting wet, play the part, like that part, and then going in, I see it today, my backstabbing brothers believe in the lies of the telling each other. No, I'll be here when they're gone, because the New York brotherhood is where our heart belongs. So you get like that slow down on the part you're talking about. And then when it comes in, it's so fucking sentimental, huh? In remembrance of old New York. So good. So
and
good.
To my friends and the ones I fought. Like, everything about it is so good.
Yeah.
But they're not forgot. Oh, God. I want to listen to it right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I am with our, like, recollection of it, but
that's right.
It's so good.
The fact that after like that, him singing on that breakdown part, it's like, okay, dude, greatest song ever. But then we go into the fucking gang vocals.
Yeah.
Like, get out of here, dude. I mean, you got an argument that this is the best hardcore song of all time. Straight up. It's just got everything. It's a fucking opus in 2 minutes. You know what I mean? And you can't shave off a single second. You know what I mean? It's like out of this world, and put shit out there that like people still hang on today, right? Like we're chains around our waist and construction gloves. People are still cosplaying that shit today. So.
Yeah, and I mean, if you've got someone with a chain around their waist and construction gloves on the front of your record cover, like breaking through a wall, I'm buying your record.
That's right. Just take my money, dude. Come on.
Yeah, for real.
But and I don't want to say anything about, like you were saying, like he gets accused of whatever, like, is this 100% real? But I will say, like, the It's Alive Instagram, you saw when he posted like Youth of Today in like Ohio in like 87, and Mike Judge looked like he was fucking 12. So it's like, god damn, was he a fetus when New York Crew went down? Like, shit is crazy. But
10 of us fetuses showed. Guess who won?
That's right. That's right. Just ankle biting like a motherfucker. Clevo, what do you think about this?
Yeah, it's I don't really go to this as much as I think the first two songs on the 7-inch are superior. And really, whatever the story he's telling, I wasn't there, but good.
Yeah, but Clevo's just mad that Boston came around one night and got ran out.
I mean, I didn't live there then.
I mean, he didn't say who won, so it's not necessarily disrespectful,
Yeah, he just said that he was down to fight.
That's right. That's right. Okay, let's see here. Ben, let's go to you. Number 5.
Well, I'll tell you what my number 5 was going to be. Judge New York Crew. And now I feel really stupid that I didn't pick it in round 4 because Dan wasn't going to pick Reason to Believe. What the fuck was I thinking?
That's right.
The last time I was in New York, I was a goober and I got my picture taken at the corner of 7th and A because of this song. I mean, Zach might be right. This might be in contention for the best hardcore song ever. And now I wish I had picked it for my number fucking 2 pick. Oh well, so much for that. So for my number 5 pick, I'm going to go with I gotta get some GB in there too. I'm gonna go Breaking Free. This is track 6 on the compact disc, self-titled Gorilla Biscuits. This is one of those Gorilla Biscuits songs that I never hear anyone talking about or raving about, and it's always to me been a standout track on this EP. I love that. I need your fucking guidance like a hole in my head. You look for me for sympathy. It's just so fucking hard. I love it. I'm breaking free. I mean, it's got everything you love about GB in it. Maybe actually very little melody. It's one of their less melodic songs. But man, they are masters of writing catchy hardcore tunes. I mean, it's just so obvious.
Yeah, this was the third. I mentioned I was going to do 3. One of 3 GB songs, High Hopes, and also I love Big Mouth, but Breaking Free was the third that I was going to choose. I mean, I absolutely love it, and I'm breaking free of friendship's dead. And like you said, I need your fucking guidance like a hole in my head. It's that part is the hardest part, but it still has some melody to it. It's such a great song. And shout out to Breaking Free Fanzine from San Diego, Artie and Chad.
Hell yeah. Yeah, okay. I'm going to keep it Rev because whatever, dude. I'm taking Judge in my way. I had to get Judge on here. And dude, this song is pretty insane when you like break it down, right? There's no real chorus. It's like verse and then another part and then verse and then another part and then the biggest fucking mosh, But I love on like that second part when it goes like the palm muting, and it's like, keeping it simple and I'm keeping it clear and I won't use words because you're too here, like, god damn, And then the first time around, right, the things I've been hearing are scaring me. A man-made substance sets your mind free. So good. And then the verses are just so loose and out of control. Judge is like a tighter band than Youth of the Day. It's like Youth of the Day is like a wilder band. Judge is a tighter band, But like there is so much wildness on this verse when it's like, what are you going to do? Be strong or full, make the wrong choice or do what you're told. And then I just love on the breakdown when like there's no buildup, there's no nothing, right? It just goes straight in. You've lost my respect. I seen your worst and I seen your best. And again, it's kind of like New York Crew. It's like, okay, they did this sick ass breakdown with this awesome vocal part over the top of it. You don't think it can get any better. And then it goes to like a gang vocal part, with those you've lost my respects. Like, god damn, perfect. And out in under 2 minutes, dude, which is what it's all about. One of the greatest hardcore songs of all time. Judge, In My Way. What do you think, Dan?
This is incredible. I mean, let's just talk about the line. the drugs are gonna kill you if I don't get you first.
Yeah. Well,
That's just the ultimate. And then, like you say, my respect, like those parts, like it's so good. Like 1988 is, I mean, there's a reason that every AIM screen name was blah 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 88 until they all realized, this makes me look like something else. But
yeah.
back then, everyone said 88 because all the best records, technically from this genre of hardcore is just, they all came out this year, and it's not fair that we can only have 7 songs. This is crazy.
Yeah, and apologies to GB, who was the 14th pick of 88. Rough. What are you going to do? Okay, Clevo, let's go to you for your number 6.
Number 6, start already getting into the heartbreak era. I'm going to take from the Slapshot 7-inch, I'm going to take Might Makes Right.
Ooh.
This is, speaking of, Oi influenced, this song is all one tempo. It's not super fast, but it's not mid tempo. And it also has the group vocals for the second verse. So yeah, totally Oi influenced. And really, I don't know how this didn't make the LP. This is a great song. So Slapshot 7-inch. Also, how great is the cover of the Slapshot 7-inch with just the mask on it? So yeah, Slapshot. It's we talked about Choke's vocals before, but yeah, this song, just like I said, it really is just like one tempo all the way through, no breakdowns, no none of that. Just throwing those group vocals in on the second verse, and you got yourself a song.
Maybe they didn't put it on the record because it was a Last Right song,
Maybe.
Or no, Negative Effects. My bad. Don't get at me, people. Negative Effects song, I think. Yeah, I don't know. But that's the only thing I can think of because you're right. It's like an all fucking timer. Take your ideas, throw them out the door. We don't give a shit. Who fucking for? It's like, oh my god, dude. Yeah, I love it. It's epic, and it's Slapshot leaning into like that mean Oi. Like it's shouty, but it's not like overtly melodic or anything. It's just fucking street. What do you think, Dan?
I love it. The only thing I always find this is one where the chorus isn't as good as the verses to me. But I do love that second verse is just all gang vox, and it's just the riff, like it's so good. And like you say, the Oi influence just drenched throughout. Fantastic pick.
Dan, number 6.
Clevo's not joking when he says the heartbreak era has begun, because
Right.
I have like 30 songs to get on. I'm going with that. This isn't my favorite song off the LP, because that is Live Free, because I love the power of the fast as fuck breakdown on Live Free. But I'm going for the song that I feel is the most important, and I think it is the best vibe too. And I just think for what this song has done in the history of hardcore, it's amazing. And then it also has a comedically fantastic video too. So I'm going No More, Youth of Today. I love the vibe that this begins with the bass and the way the guitar like punctuates, but then it comes in and then it gives you this just amazing like slow unfurling part, and then it goes into the song, and then of course it comes back for the best like sing along part ever. It's just so good. It goes fast, but then it comes back and gives you that sing along. Like, this is just incredible. and no more just looking out for myself. Like, let's talk about why this is such an important song throughout the history of hardcore. Is the putting vegetarianism on such, putting it right there in front of everyone and giving, just basically saying, like, this is out there, like, this is, don't be selfish, don't eat meat, you don't have to, I'm not looking out for myself. Like, everything about it, I love it. Like, and don't eat meat, there's no need. And especially in 88, they were straight up at the health food stores, like eating some brown rice and some stewed carrots. Like, they didn't have all these options, and yet they were forging forward and putting hands on shoulders and shaking heads when people were trying to bite into a burger. So I ask you lot, are you with me with this song? Because this song is great.
Yeah, another all-timer, the intro part drags a little bit, but like once it gets going, dude. That chorus so good, right? No more, just looking out for myself when the price paid is a life of something else. So good. And then the breakdown, our numbers are doubling at 88. People are starting to educate. So good, dude. Yeah, I love it. It needed to be here. It's like one of those songs where it changes the history of hardcore, like straight up, dude. This is one of them, like Minor Threat is remembered for Straight Edge, and Youth of Today is got to be remembered for this. I would think. Don't you think?
Well,
Dan?
yeah, absolutely. And think about this, like in 1985, I think you get Meat is Murder, and then you get this in 88. And just think about how much of the people that we all know and the people who've come and gone, how much of those two records or this song and that song, or that basically put this mentality out there, and how many people have subscribed to it and maybe would never have been. It's just all encompassing with everybody I know pretty much in that subculture or subculture adjacent. Sorry, I hiccuped.
Yeah, and people, if you want to know our take on the Smiths' Meat is Murder, smash that Patreon button, because we did a Beauty and the Beast on the Smiths and Morrissey that will have been out for a while by the time this airs. I love it. Ben, you want to speak on this, or you want to go into your number 6?
Yeah, there's actually a vegetarian lyric on the Breakdown the Walls album, and now I can't find the song. Do you know what I'm talking about, Zach? From the Animals in the Slaughterhouse.
Yeah, it's like Walk Past the Slaughterhouse and the Animal, or no, Walk Past the Slaughterhouse is in Age of Quarrel, right?
I think it's From the Animals in the Slaughterhouse.
Yeah, but
it's great radio, dude. Asking questions we don't know.
Yeah.
Awesome. Anyway, yeah, great pick. I've been vegan for 30 years. And this is a huge component. This might be one of the biggest components of the reason I'm not the reason, but convincing me to do that. So of course, love it.
Want to, yeah,
dude. And meanwhile, Noodle keeps jumping on the counter and eating my fucking enchilada. I didn't get a chance to get to before we started recording. Motherfucker. Yeah, hell yeah. Ben, let's go to you for your number 6.
All right. This is going to be easy since Judge got taken away from me. So I'm going to go with Zach's least favorite song on Suffer, Forbidden Beat, which is my favorite song on Suffer. Isn't that strange how that happens? 15 songs. And his number 15 is my number 1. Most of our lists are all these straight edge bands singing about whatever, don't do drugs. And here is a guy who's, lived it and will continue to live it. Brett Gurewitz, famous for, having a drug problem. And Forbidden Beat, it's funny. It's like a happy sounding song. It's like this upbeat, like if you never paid attention to the lyrics, you'd think it was a song about something, uplifting. But It is about heroin addiction. I love "There was a boy who had too many toys and an ache inside of his bones." It makes me want to sing the whole song, but it's just, to me, perfectly written, like one of those songs where like there's not a weak second in it. You know, there's not 1 second of the song where it's like, why did they hold that note too long, or what, or that lyric's kind of wonky. Like, no, it's like grade A front to back. I love it. And then Billy, of course, on the next album is like the next junkie song, which is actually my favorite song on that album too. I'm really into these junkie songs. I don't know why.
Edge Watch.
This verse is really good. You know, I think that like, I don't know. I guess the repeating of the Forbidden Beat I could do without. I don't. It's like it's one of those records. This, you know, it might be my favorite of all time. So like, I'm really nitpicking when I'm choosing something that I don't like. You know, I guess like the chorus on this, or like the repeaties of Forbidden Beat, and then like the repeaties of Delirium and Disorder would be like the 2 moments I could do without on the record. But you're right. Like that, there was a boy who had too many toys. It's so good. So yeah, you're right. Maybe you sold me, Ben. I don't know. Okay, let me go into my number 6. I am going back to the Raw Deal demo. I'm taking a song that I think is better off the demo than off of Brightside. It's the first song. It's Wall of Hate. Like, and then kicks. So sick. There's like no drum fill or anything. It's just right in fast. This one, the rawness of the demo works so good, you know? And I think that like maybe there is something a little missing on the LP version. Just because the song is so raw, loose, hardcore. I think it's just better that way. And generally I always lean to the more produced, tighter version, right? Like I like Age of Quarrel more than like the demo. I like Brightside more than this Raw Deal demo. You know, I like Bringing It Down more than Chung King. I don't know what other examples there are, but yeah, I don't know. I think that this is one of the greatest songs of all time, and this is the best version. What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, I mean, this was, I mean, it was a coin flip, but I just like Telltale, and I like the way Telltale sounds raw on this more. But you know, you make a good point. It's like a lot of the time, it could also be something you spent more time with. And back in the day, they were both both right after, you know, they were both pretty scarce. But then once, you know, someone makes you a tape and it's got the Raw Deal demo on it, like that I spent more time with than I initially did with Brightside. Maybe that's why I like that more at the time. But
yeah, it makes sense. I don't know when I first heard the Raw Deal demo. It might have not been until Blogspot. You know what I mean? But I had Brightside kind of early. I got it when In Control was on tour. So in 01, 02, or 03, I bought it at a record store in Baltimore for $20 off the wall. So stoked. And someone just did a repress of it. Triple B or Flat Spot, one of the bigger hardcore labels, did a repress of this, I don't know, 6 months ago, something like that. And so it's sick that it's out there, and it's been on streaming, you know, for years now. So it has really entered like the hardcore lexicon of like one of the records that even like dudes that don't like old school hardcore, like they like Killing Time. You know, it's like one of those like, oh, I like Bad Brains, Killing Time, and then nothing that's like from the 80s. You know what I mean? Little weird, but it's like, okay, well, those are 2 good picks. I can't argue with them. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Clevo, you want to speak on this, or you want to take your number 7, Heartbreaker?
No, I mean, I think you're right that this is better on the demo than the LP, but you know, that's also coming from possibly the greatest hardcore demo of all time. So
that's true. That's true. You know, In Control covered this once. We played it at Gilman Street, and like no one sang along. It was just Mikey Hood in the pit, and he was like looking around at everyone going, like with his hands up, like, wall of hate, like just disappointed at everyone. It's pretty fucking funny. Yeah, sorry, Clevo, number 7.
man, I'm leaving so much on the table, but I want to get something in here. So I'm going to take Unit Pride, and I'm going back and forth between two songs on this, but I think I'm just going to take the opening track because I love the intro to it. All in the Head. I love the intro to this with the bass when it kicks in, like, and then just the opening fast riff. But I think that breakdown, again, this is just like super positive. Like, you can accomplish things beyond belief. You just have to put your mind to it, which, when you read it, it just comes off as just like sappy lyrics. But when like a group of people just like finger pointing and jumping on each other and singing along to this, it just like gives those lyrics just such a different feeling. Like you hear this song and you just think that you can get up and just like run through walls. I don't know. I love this. And, Eric O, just like, if I'm not going to take a Youth of Today song, at least have Eric O's voice on my playlist. So close enough. But yeah, I think that this record probably gets overlooked a little bit, but it's out there, and it is readily available, so people should check this out if they don't know it.
It's great. Like, if you love like the Youth Crew style, this is like one step below all the classics, in my opinion. But it has so much personality. It's like, it's just scissor beat all across the record, right? And this is a great pick because it starts, that first riff when they're playing it slow, it's kind of like, it's a very epic riff. Like that, and then just breaks into fucking scissor beat. It's so sick. I love
the bass sound on that too. Like when it kicks in. Like I used to play this like sound check and warm up all the time just because I just love that riff.
That's so sick. Yeah, the 7-inch is a ripper, dude. And people should check it out. Hell yeah. Dan or Ben, you want to speak on this at all, or should we shoot it to Dan for his Heartbreaker?
Yeah, this is fantastic. Like Clevo said, it's readily available, but it's not on streaming for some stupid reason.
Is it not?
No, or at least it's not on Spotify, but it might be on Apple Music or something. I don't know. It's one of those things. Like, these are the bands that they're already, because it was harder to get around the time per se. Like, when all these other legendary bands get repressed, right? This wasn't being repressed as much at the time or at all.
Well, Dan, no, this was a 90s lost and found, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah. True. Yeah, so if CD wise, but I'm saying like the 7-inch.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the whole thing didn't come out of Lost and Found. I don't know. Anyway.
No, it was so there was a 7-inch that was a split with Cornerstone.
Okay.
And then they did put a CD out of the 7-inch.
Yeah, okay. And I think in your interview with him, you found out that they didn't even authorize any of that, and some other dude that will just remain nameless went and sold it to Lost and Found and said that.
No, I think it was the singer that replaced Eric, right? Went and like did the deal with fucking Lost and Found. Yeah. Everyone, get in those archives. The Eric Ozine interview is great. This is a great pick, and Mankind Records did a like a discography of this, and it's still in print, I think. Yeah, it looks like the last press of it went out in 2022. So it's not on streaming.
Can you get this on Spotify, please?
Yeah, that'd be cool, Igby. Handle business, get this shit on streaming. But maybe he's doing that straight up crucial response shit, right? You got to buy the record, Who knows? Okay, Dan, Heartbreak Round. What is your number 7?
Okay. Yeah, this is really heartbreaking, but do you know what's sickening to me right now? That there's only 2 side-by-side songs on this playlist so far, or on these playlists. So I'm dipping back in. I got to go and dip back in. If you think about me, I mean, what do I love in hardcore more than anything? there's quite a few little things, and this song has them all. So I love an edge jammer, right? This song is one. I love the great use of tasteful reverb on an echoey vocal part. This has it. I love stop start stuff. You ate your words. You drank your words. And then what do I love more than anything? Jules' voice, and when he goes, Alex! Oh, perfection. Living a lie side by side. This is everything. This is everything to me. Like, this 7-inch is my favorite. Gotta have Backfire. Gotta have this. I really wish I had the Timers Now as well, but Zach swooped that. And I'm glad he did, because it's more side by side for the listeners to think about and vote on. And I mean, let's just for one instant just think about how amazing this record cover is. It's just simple. It's beautiful. It's using, LL Cool J in all of his best things. He also has canoes for shoes, apparently, when you look at this in the silhouette form. I absolutely adore this, and I had to dip back in for more side by side.
So if you look at J. Bill's book, Record Aficionado, Volume 3, which is all Rev Records, there is a picture of the back cover of the LL record that they used to make the cover of the side-by-side record. And when you see the picture of LL, I think it's just a translation into the black and white, because you can tell that they just took it right off of that LL record. And speaking of which, J. Bill showed LL a cover of the side-by-side 7-inch. So shout out to J. Bill. And also, I don't know if these books are available, but if you can find one of any of the 3 volumes, you should pick it up if you're a record nerd, because it is just record nerddom from cover to cover.
Yeah, they are true Bibles of the love that we have. The same reason we do this podcast. They are the print version. Like, they're just amazing. And the research is so deep and so beautiful.
I have volume 3 on my desk for the entire episode. I've been flipping through it.
Nice. I'm pulling it out right now.
Well, hell yeah. Ben, you want to speak on this, or you want to take your number 7, Heartbreaker?
Yeah, this is actually my favorite side-by-side song. So now I'm wondering why I had Backfire as my absolute and why I didn't pick Living Alive for the last 6 rounds. So, oops. I love the you ate your words, drank your words, smoked your words. That's so fucking clever. I'm not kidding. It really is. Now I know the truth. And the first band I was ever in, our guitarist was named Lewis, and he did a guitar break, and I went Lois completely because of this song. Gotta give props to the masters. Side by side. Okay, here is my Heartbreaker round pick. I'm gonna have to live the gimmick and pick another song that's 4 minutes long. But truly, this is on my list. Like, I'm not just like pulling this out of nowhere. Government Issue, they put out their last album in 1988. It's called Crash, and this song is called Connecticut, and it doesn't sound like any other Government Issue song. It's hyper melodic. It's colors, words, and dreams. She's the one that sees. And plus, it's the home state of Wide Awake. Come on, Connecticut. This is a song where I played it for the bass player in my band. He had never heard it before, and he goes, "Oh my God, we have to cover this song. This is such a good song." And I said, "Totally, except it's 4 minutes long, so there's no fucking way we're going to cover it." But I appreciate the enthusiasm. And that's all she wrote. R.I.P. John Stabb.
Hell yeah. Okay. Dan or Clevo, you want to speak on that at all? I got nothing.
Yeah, I'm not that familiar, to be truthful.
I am going to take my last song and Fucking A, dude. I don't think you guys are going to predict that I'm choosing this, but I'm taking it. I love this song. It was on Together, but I'm taking it here. It's the better version. I am taking Supertouch, Searching for the Light.
Hell yeah.
I love this song. I think it's the thing that caps off this LP perfectly and makes it like, the all-time comp. Just having this song on it is like the crescendo. It's like very melodic. It's very chill. Maybe it's it's a sign of things to come in the 90s that I don't like, but like this song just has like enough sloppiness and rawness to it that like I feel like it's punk, that like guitar riff is so melodic. And then when it finally gets to the chorus, the searching for the light, and then like when it takes off and goes mid tempo after that, like search for the light, that verse part is like so sloppy, but like just has so much fucking character to it, and then like that part when it's like does the searchings when it goes like that. I don't know what you call that. Like it's a bridge part, whatever the fuck. What do you want to call it when it's like it says searching a few times? Like that's very hardcore. It's like a pylon part, in the middle of a pretty chill, soulful song. It's like, well, let's have a fucking pylon part. I don't know. This is just like an all-time song, and it's pretty sick that it's like a band that on the next Rev Comp they just redo the same song they did on the last one because they're like, oh, it was sick the last time. Let's do it again and let's make it even sicker. I don't know. What do you think about this one, Ben?
I absolutely love Supertouch. It's like in probably maybe any other year, this would have made my list. I had it as an honorable. It's just proof of how stacked this year is because this is one of my favorite bands and I'm in it for the full ride. A lot of people, they don't like when Supertouch gets too, rock sounding, but I love that shit too. But this is the band that got me into Supertouch. Love it.
Hell yeah. Dan, you want to speak on this?
Oh yeah. I took this in 87 off the Together comp for our 87 list, I believe. And yes, this is an even better version. And his voice is so sick. And the fragility of the guitar at the beginning with the riff being so catchy, like it's like, it's not strong, but it's brilliant. And what a better concept than just searching for the light. I love it. I love everything about it. I love the way it ends one of the most perfect compilation albums of all time. It just brings it to a close in such a great way, especially when there's so much hard shit on that record. And then this is still hard and still full of like hardcore attitude, but it gives it.
Sorry. Fucking Noodles stepped on the board.
Noodle's a big Rick to Life fan.
Dude, shout out. Yeah. I mean, just think about the way it is comp, right? It's got all-timers on it, like Warzone has one. It's got fucking sick people on it. It's got Together, like a Youth Today standalone song. It's got those two out of control Sick of It All songs. And then like just capping it off with, it's obviously got the side by side. God damn it, dude.
Shout out Noodles. Clevo, can you get that one?
Dude.
I mean,
motherfucker.
I've probably heard enough of it.
That's right. Dude, shout out to Animal Lovers. What's up? Okay. I'm going to do my honorable mentions here. Oh, Clevo, you want to speak on this at all before I do my honorables?
Yeah, I love the Supertouch 7-inch. This is probably kind of between the 7-inch and the LP for me. I've tried for years, and the LP just does not speak to me. But this was obviously the first time I had heard Supertouch. So, but yeah, I will say that I do love the Supertouch 7-inch.
Hell yeah. Okay, honorable mentions. Here we go. Sick of It All, Pete's Sake. Fucking A, it hurts not having that on my list. What an out of control verse, right? It's like the drummer's just like it's like he's doing half scissor beat and half drum fill. It's totally out of control and awesome. And then just so anthemic on the chorus. Perfect hardcore. Bold, Wise Up, Always Try. Nausea, Fallout of Our Being. Maybe like the Outlier song on The Way It Is, but it's like one of those fucking textures that makes the record what it is. Beyond, Vitality and Effort. Scared Straight, Over the Edge. The one good song on a really bad record. Also, Visual Discrimination, Those Drugs. I fucking love that song so much. Hogan's Heroes, the song Built to Last. Shout out to New Jersey. Uniform Choice, Cut of a Different Cause. That's the great song off a pretty not great LP. Verbal Assault, More Than Music, Ben Got It. Doom, Lifelock off the LP. Breakaway, the song Step Back. Shout out to Joey Vela and the whole San Ramon Mosh crew, including the man, Jeremy Lux. What's up? Screeching Weasel, Supermarket Fantasy, and Hey Suburbia. Instead, Live and Let Live. Wish it was on my list. That's just a song I think of like, God damn, if I was at the country club or something, right? With like 900 kids in the room. I think about Instead playing that intro and it just speeding up and the pit fucking starting. Let's do this circle pit shit, dude. And then let's like do these big ass sing-alongs. I don't know. It hurts that like that's not on any of our lists. What are you going to do? GB, Better Than You. Biohazard, Wrong Side of the Tracks. Death Side, Look at Yourself. Hard Stance, Discrepancy. Everyone give that Indecision discography. Hard Stance is the shit. Infest, I'd Sick and Tired, and Where's the Unity? Exploited, going into their crossover or thrash metal shit. That song War Now rips, and The Massacre would come out 2 years later, and I love that shit. Heresy, song Trapped in a Scene, also Face Up to It. I had two. I don't know why I wasn't going to pick them, but definitely honorable. The Life's Blood 7-inch comes out. Stick to It's my favorite song. Lip Cream, for the real ones out there. I'm just taking the album cover because that octopus smothering the earth is so fucking sick. Don't know how to pronounce it, but the classic Italian band, the Negazione. Hey, Negazione. That song, My Days. That record's not great. They're getting a little butt on there, but that song is fucking sick. No for an Answer, got No Love. But what are you going to do? That song, Without a Reason, is a classic. Pagan Babies. That song, Stories of Old. So sick, dude. That is like a straight circle pit anthem. Shout out Philly. Reason to Believe. The whole 7-inch, other than Foundation. Ripcord, Collision of Vision, Swizz, Wash, and also Quick. Thought maybe Swizz would get on here, didn't. And I got to call out Pops because that riff on Quick is very similar to the In My Eyes intro. What's up, dude? Looking at you. Turning Point, To Lose and Face Up. Unit Pride, Then and Now. Up Front, Left Behind. Vision, Falling Apart. Shout out New Jersey again. Wide Awake. All the songs except for Last Straw. And finally, Wrecking Crew. 2 songs, Guts and Glory, and then also Judgment, because that intro is so sick. Dan, honorable mentions, what's up?
All right, well, I'm going to hit you with some tracks. Side by Side, My Life to Live. Side by Side, Look Back. Side by Side, You're Only Young Once. Side by Side, Friends. Side by Side, Side by Side. Side by Side, Dead Serious. So, there you have it. Well, no, for real, though, I'll just go with some... And it's pretty much you can throw a dartboard at any songs off of most of these things that have been discussed. But Insight by Wide Awake narrowly missed my list. You know, when shit goes down, no one's around, just you and him. Like, oh my God, what an intro to a song. If we're going to... I'm not going to bore everyone with a million things. There's so much in this year that you could just go with. I had such a hard time putting together just 7 songs, but, you know, Zach named a lot of great stuff, so I won't go on forever.
Ben, honorable mentions, you got 30 seconds.
It's going to take longer than that. Dag Nasty, Matt, Uniform Choice, Cut of a Different Cause, Swizz, Tune, Angry Samoans, I'll Drink to This Love Song, Naked Raygun, Soldier's Requiem, Palehead, Don't Stand in Line, Social Distortion, It's the Law, All, Skin Deep. Moss Icon, I'm Back Sleeping or Fucking or Something. Screeching Weasel, Hey Suburbia. Token Entry, The Fire. Hard Stance Discrepancy. Bold, Wise Up from the Way It Is. Super Touch, Searching for the Light from the Way It Is. Crackdown, Ignorance from the
Time's up, sucker.
Clevo, honorables.
Let's see. Yeah, I didn't take anything by Side or Youth of Today, which is surprising. I didn't take anything off of The Way It Is. Those are all still out there. Swizz, the first LP. Rod Yield demo. No for an Answer. When Will It End? Naked Raygun, Jettison. The Lemonheads, Creator. Let's see. Token Entry, Jaybird. UC, A Wish to Dream. Warzone, Open Your Eyes. You mentioned it, Wrecking Crew. I would have taken Troubled Youth. I had that on my short list. Rollins Band, Lifetime. For all the Cleveland heads out there. The False Hopes second demo came out this year. Unfortunately, that will probably never be on streaming or re-release, so I didn't say anything about that. And put it on the honorable mentions, but Crucial Youth, Crucial Yule. If you want to listen to a joke cover of Crucified while you're hanging your stockings on your over your fireplace, that's the song to go to.
A terrible suggestion, terrible band, but what are you going to do? Dan, where can the people find you?
You can find me DJing at the Whistle Stop every third Friday in San Diego, and you can find me DJing at the Cat Club in San Francisco every fourth Friday. Both are banging Britpop nights. And you can also find me on Instagram at Southpaw Instagrammer.
Ben, where can people find you?
On Instagram at Future Confusion. That is the name of my band, Future Confusion.
Clevo, where can the people find you?
On Instagram at Clevo.
Everyone, get at me. Email is the best way. 185milessouth@gmail.com. I respond to everyone. Also, we're on all the socials, 185 Miles South on Instagram, Twitter, Threads. My personal, Zach Retaliate on Instagram. And Retaliate is the best on Instagram. 1988, people. Hell of a year for hardcore. We love you all. We'll talk to you again next Monday on Patreon.